Has Heaven Hill lost their touch? Today we're doing a review of Larceny Barrel Proof Batch A125. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Hutch. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the world of whiskey. So today we're diving into the first release of Larceny Barrel Proof from 2025, the A batch. Larceny Barrel Proof has been historically one of my favorite lines in all of bourbon. Just continually impresses me. I also tend to really like wheated bourbons. I like barrel proof stuff. So it's kind of just a match made in heaven for me. Last year's releases in 2024 I thought were solid, but nothing super special. The C batch really grew on me over time, so can say that I really came to appreciate that. But it's a little disappointing because, 2023, the B523, the C923, I thought were both really good. Then in 2022, C922 actually won my Whiskey of the Year bracket, albeit I did have a lot less whiskey and experience back then, but still, some stellar bottles that hold like a high standard for this whole line. A125 did hit my area a little bit late, so I'm late to the party. I've seen a lot of mixed reviews on this one, so I'm eager to dive in myself and see what's happening here. Is it kind of a bounce back year? Are we still in that territory of not so sure if Larceny Barrel Proof is, on the right track? It's a big question. I think it's similar to what we're feeling with Elijah Craig, which is even more exaggerated with the age statement going away. But Larceny, let's see if it can hold down the fort and continue to deliver great whiskey. So with this batch in particular, it is 125 proof on the dot. So nice even round number there. Typically these are 6 to 8 years old in terms of age, and price point here, the MSRP is $65. I did actually get this one for $60 at Costco. So 65 is pretty nice for a barrel strength 6 to 8 year old wheated. Can't complain about the pricing from Heaven Hill on these like mid-tier products. Let's dive in on the nose, palate, and finish and see if this line can continue to impress me. All right, on the nose. Okay, so it's sweet, like a vanilla, strong vanilla, very nice caramel, but it's a lighter caramel. Not dark and rich, more like light, bright caramel. Peanuts, definite like peanut experience here. Maybe something slightly earthy, but mostly it's living in this like one level of like still bright vanilla, bright caramel, and even sort of this like more bright peanut. It's not like a dark pecan or like a walnut. It's just peanut shell kind of thing. And maybe a slight hint of a red fruit like a strawberry for me. Okay, so decent nose, definitely not evoking some of those more spectacular batches for me that tend to have like a raspberry, candy bar, dark rich vanilla and caramel. This seems to be existing a little bit on the brighter end of the spectrum. All right, let's go in on the palate. Cheers. Okay, I mean, it's good. It's got spice, vanilla, and peanut. Definitely like a lot of spicy peanut right at the core of this thing. Some brown sugar, almost none of that like red fruit characteristic. It's not lingering for a super long time, but it is spicy. For 125 proof, that's to be expected. I don't think it's drinking super hot. It's reminding me right off the bat of like a middle of the road Booker's release, which is interesting. It's got that peanut spiciness, a little bit of cinnamon, and the caramel, but not coming across much as like a wheated profile to me. Let's see if we go in on the second sip, if we can pick out some more flavors. Cheers. Yeah. Dang. I just think this one's a little out of balance. Maybe like I'm feeling the younger side of this. I also noticed that this one maybe isn't as dark in color as some of the other Larcenys that I have on my shelves, and might be tending more toward that 6-year part of the age range. It's spicy, a little aggressive with its spice, not really like a blooming baking spice, but more just aggressive cinnamon. It's got vanilla and it's got caramel. Both of those are existing in that more bright, punchy part of the spectrum than a dark, rich experience. And then there's lots of peanut. Again, it's like a Booker's, where sometimes Booker's, not one of the more phenomenal batches, because there can be really, really awesome batches of Booker's. One of those more middle of the road ones that's just kind of spicy peanut, typical Jim Beam. That's what this is evoking for me. Okay, let's go in for a third sip. We'll really evaluate the finish and talk about the whiskey experience overall. Cheers. Okay. Yeah. The finish is tending toward medium long, but what mostly sticks around for me is this spice characteristic, just heat and cinnamon. What I feel like this whiskey lacks is just complexity. I mean, it's got the peanut, it's got caramel, it's got vanilla, it's got cinnamon spice. That is basically what I experience in this whiskey. I think the peanut is a little disappointing. It's more like peanut shell than anything else. And I'm a big fan of peanuts. I love candy bars with that. I mean, anything in the nut world, I'm happy to find in a bourbon. But I feel like this one's tending more toward that youthful peanut shell experience. Yeah, maybe a little thinner mouthfeel too than some of the other Larcenys that I've had. Okay, so this isn't the most glowing review ever. I want to caveat it all by saying this is not bad whiskey. It's still good. It is presenting those flavors. It's barrel strength. You can feel it. It's powerful, and it's got some of those flavors turned up. I think in particular, I'm not a huge fan of some of the just lighter, brighter ends of the spectrum without any undergirding of some of the darker layers. It doesn't have a chocolate, which sometimes you expect from a wheated profile from Heaven Hill. Not really any red fruits either, which I think sometimes are the mark of one of these better batches of Larceny. So for $60, still good whiskey. If you see this one for 80, 85, 90 bucks, I don't think it's worth that. I think that this is one of the more lackluster batches of Larceny Barrel Proof that I've tasted in the last couple of years. Of course, it could open up. I've had it for about 2 days now, so it could develop and get much, much better. But I'm a little disappointed starting out the year here with Larceny. So hopefully it can bounce back. B5, 25 could be a spectacular batch. The C batches tend to be some of my favorites, so there's still a lot of hope for Larceny Barrel Proof. Would love to know in the comments below if you have purchased this one and tried it. What did you think? Especially if you're a fan of the Larceny line, how do you think it sits among all of its other brothers? While we're at it, please hit the like button on this video. That's what gets it out to the most people. And then if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the Bourbon Hutch. Trying to reach 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. When we do reach that goal, hoping to do some big celebration and really honor that milestone with potentially a giveaway. So again, want to hear what you think of this bottle of Larceny Barrel Proof. Till I see you guys again for another video, all I can say is keep drinking good whiskey and cheers.